Woo! It's freezing in Minnesota. So I was talking to a couple of my supporters, and I told them that I had an experience when I was younger. Most people don't realize it, but everybody has a past. Secrets. Well, I'm going to expose mine. When I was around about 13, 14 years old, I used to live in a city called East Chicago, Indiana. There was an individual who lived about maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from the street called Guthrie Street. That individual was about 2 years older than me. So the boy used to come by my mother's place because he can gossip and stuff. He was a homosexual, and most people knew that. He obviously wanted to be around boys. He started becoming very close to my mother. Because I'm a very nice person, I would talk to him. I wasn't a homosexual child. He would come by, talk to my mother, come down there to where my bedroom is at, telling me about the mysterious things that he has done for his age. It started becoming more apparent to me that he wanted me, but I wasn't into men. But he showing up like me, and some of my closest people know for some weird reason I attract homosexual energy. I just don't understand. One night, I left my window unlocked. I always did. I was on the bottom floor, and at the time I had the room to myself. And I like to sleep in my briefs when I was younger. I just couldn't believe what was going to happen that night. You gotta really, really move me in order to wake Chevis up. Okay. Whew. God damn! I don't understand why it's so cold out there. So, to continue with the story, so I'm sleeping. And as most people know, little boys be having wet dreams. People they gotta be real. They gotta be tearing all sorts of things up in my dreams. And they say make dreams reality. Shit, it did. It happened. Oh boy, every time I think about this, whew, I just can't believe this happened to me as a kid. As I am sleeping, I'm in my dream in the middle of doing something. But it was strange because it was just feeling so good. I couldn't understand. I remember it very well. That is a part of my life I remember. And then I wake up because I was about to come. It was so good, it woke me up out of my dream. And I wake up into the dark and see that dude. At the time, I didn't know that it was him. And my briefs are down and my dick is out and my dick is gone. I mean, dude was just going at it. I got 7.5. That shit was disappearing within seconds. And I'm screaming. I couldn't believe what the fuck was happening to me. I'm screaming. So it wakes up my mother upstairs. The other siblings were woken up as well, but my mother ran downstairs. She's screaming because I'm screaming. We're all screaming. He's fumbling and shit, just moving, fumbling. Get his clothes, jumps out the window, butt naked with all of his clothing, and runs away. And left the window wide open. My mother comes downstairs and turns on the light, and there go my dick out hard. And I'm damn near was about to come. And I'm still screaming. I just can't believe it. Nonetheless, my mother is like, Chevis, what happened? I really didn't know how to explain it because how do I tell her that I woke up and a man was just sucking my penis? Oh, goodness, yo. I was just horrified because the figure in the dark, I just sensed it was a male. I sensed it. 2 days later, that individual comes over to the house. He comes over there to talk to my mother as he normally does. He pulls me to the side and he says, Chevis, I'm sorry. I was like, what are you sorry about? It was it was me. I came over, that night. The amount of anger that I had. So he explains to me that day he came over outside the window. He raises it up, crawls inside of it. He takes off his clothes ever so silently so that no one can hear him, especially me, since I'm, here in my room. He takes off his boots. That man used to wear boots. It was his thing, the Timbs. He takes off all of his clothes. So he was naked in that room with me. So he said he pulled the cover off of me. I just had my briefs on. So it wasn't hard, especially me laying like this, for him to get the pulling. And the rest of the story, you already heard. So he said he was down there for probably about 7 minutes or so. So I'm hearing all of this and I'm very, very upset, but I don't really know what to do. Like, I want to punch him, beat him up. My religion at that time was Jehovah's Witnesses. So I wasn't a violent dude. And I was 13, 14. I forget the age. I seen him times after that, for years actually. But just never spoke on that ever again. I've always remembered this. So it's just one of those things that you have a deep secret, and sometimes those deep secrets influence certain behaviors. And that one was a rape situation. It was still a traumatic thing for me because I don't want to be telling people that, somebody was sucking on my dick and it was a man because, at that time it technically was rape. But, for men, it's hard for us to talk about an experience that happens because, people around you want to just get to calling you names and stuff like that. In conclusion, there's bad shit that happened in people's lives. Everybody has a past. Every individual does. So I don't care who that person is, the person that they are now as an adult, certain things could have made them the way that they are. A bad person or a good person. It doesn't really matter the individual. It's just that a lot of them keep that shit up in here. And they grow to be a certain type of way because of influences. Certain individuals that come into their life. I hope this helps somebody whenever they get it and they share their story and get it off their chest, because everybody has something that happened to them and people need to listen. Peace.